Welcome back to another TurboGrafx review. Today we will look at the Dynastic Hero for the Super CD-ROM, which is Hudson Soft's adaptation of Wonder Boy and Monster World, also known in Japan as Wonder Boy 5 Monster World 3, originally released for the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive. Character names and some of their sprites along with the bosses were altered for this version of the game to give it an insect theme. For this video I am using the PCE Works reproduction version so that you can see the text in English. I also own and played through the PC Engine Super CD version.
The street and sing a victory song.
The opening intro features a nice song while the story text scrolls along the screen. Here's a comparison of the opening song between the English and Japanese versions.
I don't always know what to say, but now I must show I can do the right thing.
The quest begins with the hero Dyna leaving his house and speaking to his neighbor, who mentions that Brenna the fairy maiden is being held captive in Tarron Castle. When you arrive at the castle, there are guards posted blocking anyone from entering. Dyna then makes his way through the sea and comes across a village of fairies, which has been infested with mushroom creatures from a nearby cave. Dyna speaks to several villagers and enters the cave to defeat the source of evil. Once the fairy village is freed, Nora, the Queen of Heavens, opens a path for Dyna to reach the depths of Tarron Castle, where he must free Brenna. Once he defeats the Guardian holding her captive, Tarron Castle is open for safe passage and Dyna can continue with the next phase of his journey. The lands of Tarron are expansive with environments like forests, jungles, desert, sea, and ice, along with indoor areas such as fortresses, temples, castles, a pyramid, and a volcano. Like in Dragon's Curse, these locations are linked together to form one large world with even more room for exploration with lots of hidden doorways, so don't leave any stones unturned or else you might miss out on something big. Each location presents itself with obstacles and hazards to trip you up, such as fire, spear traps, spiked floors and ceilings, and disappearing platforms, the last of which is very frustrating. You'll see when you get there. Some areas are inaccessible or are hazardous to enter unless you have specific items or equipment in your inventory. For example, to swim underwater you must equip the trident. There is one part of the game that replicates the transformation feature in Dragon's Curse, which is necessary to enter certain areas. In some sections you must play notes from an ocarina or answer trivia questions to advance. For the ocarina you will need pen and paper to write down the note sequences. For the trivia questions you receive a bonus item if you answer every one correctly, but you will lose your life and gold if you get too many wrong. This poses a problem in the Japanese version unless you can read the language or are a great guesser. Towns are located throughout Tarron where you purchase equipment, magic spells and potions, save your progress, and obtain information from villagers as to your next destination. Many of the familiar foes return in the Dynastic Hero, such as snakes, crabs, boulders, bats, and mushrooms, to go along with penguins and yetis in Iceland, mummies and scorpions in the desert, and fish and monkeys in the ocean. Even the first boss for Monster Lair makes an appearance. You will fight bosses consisting of reptilian and amphibious creatures along with dragons. Health bars are now displayed for each enemy. Defeated enemies drop gold, health, hearts, and magic restoration. Enemies regenerate after they're defeated. Eventually they stop regenerating after 3 times. If you move to another screen and go back to where you previously were, enemies will reappear. Repeat this process again and again if you need to grind for gold to purchase expensive equipment. To defeat and defend yourself from these enemies, Dyna uses an assortment of swords and spears, along with various protective equipment. Swords are useful for destroying enemies and blocks above you, and you can equip a shield to block enemy projectiles. Spears have greater attack range and strength than the swords, but shields cannot be equipped. As an alternative, there's a technique where you spin the weapon, allowing you to block enemy projectiles. This tactic is also useful to quickly defeat enemies with high hit points. Armor is self-explanatory, and boots make a return in this series, which have different effects like increased speed when moving or climbing ladders. Magic spells have replaced the sub-weapons from Dragon's Curse. Spells can be equipped in 2 slots. There are 3 magical attacks: Firestorm, Thunder, and Explosion. Firestorm releases a cluster of fireballs which home in on the enemy. The Thunder spell unleashes bolts of lightning that affect any enemies on screen. Explosion causes an earthquake that damages all on-screen foes. The attack spells do not work if there are no enemies present. There's magic that gives you a temporary boost to your attack or defense. Finally, using the return spell teleports you back to the last inn where you saved your game. Usage of your spells is indicated by a meter in the menu screen. This is fully restored when you spend the night at an inn. A new feature in the Wonder Boy series are companions that aid Dyna in his quest. If you talk to certain people in town, they will send someone to follow and assist you in the section of the land you are in. Companions have their specialties, such as Sabrina, the mini fairy who occasionally drops hearts. Newt, a child from the beetle village of Manta, digs up coins and unearths walls to reveal hidden entrances, and Crick, a flying praying mantis, hurls small scythes at enemies. The companions remain with you if you are within the section of the land they live in. If you depart that area or rest at an inn, they leave you, but you can always go back and get them again. The Dynastic Hero offers a larger and more complex world to explore than Dragon's Curse. While progression through this game is linear, there are more paths to maneuver through in each area, along with finding keys and activating switches to open locked doors and barricades in order to reach the bosses and treasure. The Dynastic Hero features more diverse landscapes which are very colorful and detailed. I sometimes had a hard time putting down the controller because I was excited to see what area I would explore next. The characters, enemies, and bosses once again have a cartoon appearance, which is always appealing to me. There's more interaction with the non-playable characters, which makes it easier to figure out where you need to go next. Purchasing and equipping your gear was simplified, and it's less of a grind to accumulate gold. The companion characters along with the magic spell system are nice additions to this series. The Dynastic Hero features an excellent soundtrack with music based on diverse cultures suited to the environments, like calypso music when you're in the tropics and Arabian-style music while crossing the desert. There's a fine blend of guitar instruments played throughout the game's tracks. The Dynastic Hero is less difficult than Dragon's Curse because you accumulate more health hearts while taking less damage, there's more direct guidance, and if you're far away from town while low on health, you can warp back to safety. This can be viewed as a positive or a negative, but I will take the middle ground on this. Being a CD game, it would have been nice to hear voice acting along with cinematics during certain events throughout the game. While I praised the graphics for its color and detail, they lacked the parallax scrolling found in the Genesis version. This system was more than capable of pulling that off. The knockback effect when getting hit is present in this game, but that's a staple of the Monster World game, so I learned to deal with it. I had hours of fun with the Dynastic Hero, and I highly recommend playing this game. The best way to enjoy the Turbo Duo version is via emulation or the PCE Works reproduction, because an original would cost many hundreds of dollars. The PCE Works and PC Engine versions are affordable, but there are language barriers for the latter. As an alternative, the Genesis version is available on the PlayStation Store for the PlayStation 3 as well as Steam. I prefer the Super CD version because of the soundtrack. I hope you enjoyed this review, and as always, thanks for watching.